Ladies and gentlemen, members and friends, welcome to the new Flavour Profiles virtual tasting, our April outturn virtual tasting. I'm joined here by Zach Stanley, your membership services guru, and of course, over there, Matt Bailey and special guest Luke McCarthy. Welcome.
Guys, hello everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for the intro, Adam. Of course, you all know me by now, but we've got a very special guest, Luke McCarthy. Very, very special. VIP, we'll call him. No, all right. Yeah, no. For those who don't know, Luke is you're an author, you're a columnist, you're a writer, you're a journalist, you're a whiskey geek extraordinaire. Like, I don't know how to sum up who you are these days.
Solid. Yeah, I mean, I'm some of those things sometimes, other things other times. So
excellent.
So yeah, thanks for having me, mate. Absolute pleasure to be with you.
Oh, well, here we go. Look there. Oh.
Matt, you should know by now there's a slight delay, okay, in these things.
Oh. Okay. Yeah, and we've got tonight the new Flavour Profiles, which is the official virtual launch of these 8 new profiles representing where the SMWS has been, gone, and where it's headed, which is very exciting through these 8 casks that we get to try tonight. I hope you've all got your packs in front of you. We're lucky that we've got a smidge of each bottle left over from our pouring stock ready to go in front of us as well. And we've pre-poured the first 2 tonight. And without much further ado, I think we should press into it. Otherwise, we're going to be here all night.
Yeah. Are we going the order of the menu, Matthew?
Yes. So those playing along at home, that's a good call. I think we should. I like that order. Left page, then right page, top to bottom sort of thing. I think that makes sense. Yeah. Cool. That looks good. Okay. So we'll start with the 58.62 Honey High, and we've pre-poured the 100.47 as well in front of us. But you can do this at whichever pace you like tonight. This is our chance to talk through them, talk through the new Flavour Profiles and everything like that. Have we got the new Flavour Profile wheel up ready to go? Have we got that sort of?
Absolutely do. Ready? Are you ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Boom.
So those playing along at home, there's our new 8 profiles. I want to provide a bit of context as you're nosing this 58.62. We sort of had a discussion at SMWS at HQ a couple of years ago now about the Flavour Profiles and how the 12 existing profiles didn't really best represent our style, our stocks, and they're representing how we best talk about our whiskies. And some of them made sense in terms of sweet, fruity, and mellow sort of made sense as a profile, but light and delicate didn't. And some profiles you saw lots of, and some you didn't see much of at all. And this way, by having a sort of a rethink about how we categorize our flavors, the new profiles don't, it doesn't sort of narrow the range at all. It focuses in what we're best at. And I think that's sort of going to be the theme tonight. And this first one we're starting off with is ripe fruits and honey. So cask 58.62. For those who are newer to the society, the 58 in this case means distillery 58, and .62 means the 62nd cask we've bottled from this distillery that's passed the tasting panel in
65
years. Mm-hmm. Have a nose of that. I think ripe fruits and honey is right. I mean, if you look at the color of this ripe fruits and honey, it's sort of like a purple. Now, I'm going to apologize in advance for anyone who's a bit sort of maybe colorblind. But this one, it's sort of a purpley sort of color.
It's like a royal purple, I'd say, because we had spicy and sweet, which is obviously that sort of deep purple, but this is even more of a royal.
Yeah, so
pull up a full screen image of it. In 3, 2, 1.
Oh, there we go. It is a royal purple, isn't it? It's quite sort of. Hey, I know that room.
Looks familiar, doesn't it?
Luke, what are you getting off the nose immediately on this?
Oh, look, definitely like the beautiful vanilla, the beautiful honey. Definitely a bit of a beeswax note as well. It sort of slips into, I don't know, like just a slightly savory territory as well, which I'm finding really interesting. Like plenty of fruit, but delicious opening.
I'm
almost very apt.
Noodle sort of situation on the nose.
Yeah, cool.
Did you say Thai noodle?
This is definitely a flavor profile which speaks to me. Ripe fruits and honey is something that I would love to find in a whiskey. So I'm going to be exploring these ones definitely as we see more come out.
And we do have a few coming very soon.
Cool.
Petrie says it's Moorish. It certainly is. And thanks to everyone else who's joining us. Daz
I can see lots more people jumping in now, which is great. Thank you so much.
Betty, Dov, Mr. Teague, of course.
Gee, all right.
I saw that comment. It's Moorish. I thought that said it's Moorsish, as in like Alex Moores. So that's what I read it as.
No more Morsey faces on bottle labels.
No.
Lower ABV than you might expect for someone of this age, or?
That's a good call. I was just thinking about that just a second ago. 53.5% is quite low for. I mean, you expect something, because I'm guessing the fill levels at this distillery, which, by the way, let's be honest, the most picturesque, beautiful distillery in Scotland.
Gorgeous.
If you're going to Scotland to take a photo of a distillery, it's this one.
Yeah.
I don't even care if this is your favorite distillery or not. It's probably the most beautiful.
Yeah, definitely. The Old Pagodas.
The Old Pagodas, the perfectly manicured lawns, always, the garden, the whitewashed sort of walls.
There's always a bit of mist and cloud about as well, I feel like,
in the
background. So.
I visited this distillery in, I'm going to say, was that 2019 or something, and I was walking nearby after doing the tour, and I'm just literally not even down the road, but next door to this distillery is Glenkeith.
Yep.
And I remember didn't realize it was so close, and I went and knocked on the door thinking, I just want to have a look inside, and some grumpy old stillman opened the door, looked at me and said, piss off, and then closed the door again. So definitely no visitors welcome at Glenkeith, I'm afraid. But
yeah.
We had called ahead and told them about you, so
Yeah, that
makes sense. I think they've got a picture of him on most distillery doors now.
do not allow
this
it.
like a
automatic piss off,
band
whatever you
circle
say.
through it. Yeah. Welcome to the stream, Sarah. I'll be grabbing tickets for the Brizzy tasting. Looking forward to it. Amazing to hear. And just a little plug, anyone who's going to the physical in-person flavor profile events over the next few months in pretty much every state, it's a completely different lineup to tonight, like a completely different lineup. So you're not just getting the same of more of the same. You're getting 8 brand new whiskeys, one of each in the new flavor profile. So if you haven't yet, grab your tickets. Matthew Arclay, welcome to the stream. Good evening.
Matt Arclay, I'm so glad to see you in here. I remember you saying that this is a virtual that you'd be able to actually make with the time zone difference. So I really appreciate you jumping in.
That's
a question from Mark Teague. Does this mean all Alex Moore's legacy 12 flavor profile training he had at the vaults when selecting one are now null and void?
Yeah, we just now knows nothing about flavor. Unfortunately, we'll have to start from scratch.
We hit the reset button. That's why he's not here tonight, unfortunately.
We love you, Alex. It's fine.
It's important to note that the legacy flavor profiles are still around. They're just not being, there's nothing new being produced in them, but we've still got some coming through.
Yeah, cool.
Can I ask a question without notice?
Yeah, let's do it.
Flavor profiles, is it something that has always been around in society? We're going back a few decades, or is it something that they've always looked towards? Or
well, okay, I can answer this. Flavor profiles sort of officially started in 2004. So shortly after the Australian branch launched, but they weren't printed on the bottles, and in fact, even the early outturns from 04 and 05, they weren't even in the outturns, so they weren't communicated as such. They were just tagged as such by the panel, and the panel sort of said, "Oh, this one's more like a light and delicate, or sweet fruity mellow, or deep rich and dried fruits." And it's sort of that plus a drinking tip when to best enjoy this. I want to bring drinking tip back. I love that one. They got rid of it, but anyway, it was like, best enjoy it on a Sunday afternoon with a plate of fish, sort of like tasting notes. And I was like, that's kind of cool. But yeah, and then it was in 2008, I think. This is a really Alex Moore's question now. A resident SMWS historian would know this. But yeah, and then 2008 was when they were probably communicated to members with the flavor profiles printed in the outturn, but the bottles were still the red code ones where they weren't printed on the bottles. And up until this new 8 profile approach, yes, the previous generation had the colored strips and the colored caps, but now they're printed on the actual bottles in the flavor strip on the bottle now, so you can. I don't know, the camera's over here. I'm looking at the wrong one.
Let me. I mean, for a one coming up, that's an even worse one. No, that's a terrible one. There we go. You see, that one says toasted oak and vanilla on the flavor profile strip
on the actual bottle.
The Scotch Malt Whiskey Society.
And we find that really useful rather than people focusing just exclusively on tasting notes or codes. It can get rather confusing. It's just the whole idea of like, what am I reaching for? I want something that's, I want something that's ripe fruits and honey. I want something that's toasted oak and vanilla. I want something that's dried fruits and spices, etc. I think that's the fun part of it.
Cool.
Dom says he loved the old drinking tips.
Yeah, they were good. They were good. We could look to incorporate them in a sort of maybe a sort of historical outturn coming up or something. I like that idea.
Oh,
Have you had much experience with this distillery, Luke? Distillery 58?
I won't mention the distillery bottlings, but
They're a bit ho-hum.
Yeah.
They are a bit ho-hum. It's all right. We can get away with saying that. But most of these distilleries you got to remember, most of them, they were for blenders.
Yeah, true.
That's like, the core range for them is a bit like this curio that was spurred on by indie bottlers doing it.
The things that immediately come to mind is the old Gordon MacPhail bottlings.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
I remember coming across a few of those here in Australia and in Scotland. The old sherry bombs, which I think they sort of dominated the spirit a little bit. They probably weren't the most memorable 40, 50-year-old whiskies going around, which is really say that. And Gordon MacPhail would absolutely not say that. But I probably, and then definitely some of the more recent independent bottlings that released in the last 10 years found some absolute gems that bring forth that sort of fruit character that you're often looking for. And yeah, that'd be about it. I haven't really revisited it much recently. Yeah.
It's a distillery for me that excels at old age, but when you get ones like this that are sort of mid-age, I should say, or when they sing like this, it's just marvelous.
Yeah. This is cool though. Like this is exactly how you want to see it more often, because you get the distillate character, completely on show. The cast is just smooth and added things that are lovely and delicious. So cool start. Nice.
Yeah, really excellent. It started to develop this biscuity macadamia, drier but sweeter kind of flavor as it went on.
Well, thanks to Adam's diligence here, we've got a QR code on the screen. If anyone wants to grab a bottle of Honey High, it's available on the website. You can just scan your QR with your phone. It takes you straight to the product on the website. But again, those who are new to the society or who may be new to this stream, it's we only sell bottles to members. So if you've not got your membership sorted out, then good opportunity to get some of the new flavor profiles with your membership. All right. Shall we press on? We don't want to rush you through any of your whiskeys, but we've got a few to get through. And
drink them in your own time. But we
drink responsibly in your own time.
Of course. Keep the stream nice and tight. We are going to move on to Marmalade and Mint.
Yep.
100.47. Where are we? Boom.
Okay.
Oh, we've got to get rid of them.
No, you can drink through them.
I was going to come back. Oh, yeah. No, okay.
I could find you some more glassware. There's boxes of glassware.
I'm sure we can find some glassware.
There's a clean box of glasses just there, Luke.
You've got your method.
No. I don't have a method. It's just
you guys calm down. We're trying to do a live stream here.
Sorry. You got to look the other way. Yeah.
I actually put this up on screen before, but it was nicely timed. There it is. I'll talk about that after a bit. Matt, you absolutely fell in love with this pretty much. I can't remember if it was off spec or just the first time you tasted it. Yeah,
no, I nosed it either in the production of these packs or maybe at Whisk and Helmet or something, and I went, "Oh, I have to have one of those." Yeah. I'll be perfectly upfront with you all. I have already purchased a bottle of this 100. I love it.
Nice.
And I just love this. But then again, this kind of whiskey is my kind of whiskey lately. That really savory, biscuity, toasted oak kind of thing going on. Where
it's very perfumed on the nose though as well.
Yeah, it is very perfumed. And it's also this is cool to see, cool to see a distillery 100, because 100.47 means in nearly 45 years we've had 47 casks, which is really bugger all if you think about it. And there's kind of there's almost a soy sauce note, like sweet, woody, toffee sauce, and sort of caramel toffee, but also quite savory. That's not it's almost peanut brittle rather than toffee. I don't know. It's got this lovely savory biscuity note, which I love in a dram. Very cereal driven. It's like if those hard caramel candies were in liquid form, like that level of caramel confectionery, but a liquid version of it. Yeah. Some might call liquid sauce. I don't know.
Now this is lovely sourdough crumpet kind of thing. It's very nice. Goes along that biscuity line that you were saying, but kind of more bready and
bready
sort of
pumpernickel
thing.
bread,
Yeah.
We had a bottling a couple of years ago called Big Loaf. It reminds me of that. I wish I'd bought more bottles of Big Loaf. Big Loaf was good.
And
That
Big
was a
Loaf
real
was
bready whiskey.
in spicy and dry, which was yellow, but it wasn't this yellow.
That's right.
Yeah. Color.
So this is the new toasted oak one. I mean, you're expecting things like, if you see your menus, it says things like fresh oak, banana chips, patisserie, passion fruit, honeysuckle, toasted coconut kind of notes in a whiskey. And that's just like, I think this is, I mean, spicy and dry was one of my favorite flavor profiles, and it was one of members' least favorite flavor profiles. Whereas I love that sort of like that really, like I say, biscuity sort of, like I love this line that says in it about cinnamon and tangerine shavings. Like it's just, that's so good. It's just this is why I've opened this bottle just the other night. I love it.
Yeah, it seems to be a character that a lot of blenders talk about a lot.
Yeah,
maybe not so much a consumer preference thing, but
no,
highly prized by blenders.
Highly prized, yeah. Luke, have you had much experience with Distillery 100?
I can remember some of the distillery bottlings.
Yeah, not very many.
I wish I scribbled more of those away back in the day. Actually, they were big fans of those.
But they don't exist as distillery bottlings anymore.
No. So you know, I totally nerded out before coming today and jumped on Whiskey Base for some of these, and fascinating to see that. Yeah, this one in particular, not many bottlings. I mean, it's still staggering that you think, you know, sometimes there's thousands of bottlings from distilleries. You think, oh, it wouldn't have been bottled very much, and then there's 800-900 bottlings that you've never come across before. You're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, not one that I've. Again, another whiskey that I spent a lot of time with, probably like 2000, like the mid 2010s.
Yep.
Saw more independent bottlings, a few SMWS bottlings from then as well, and. Yeah, I don't know. Are you seeing more of them recently? Or
no? Yeah? It's again a distillery that, I mean, 99% of their output goes into blending. I think it's part of Pernod Group. I think, or is it Diageo? This one,
I think it's Diageo.
It's Diageo. Sorry, yeah.
Guys, and that really opened up. It's bringing out more of that.
Let's try it.
Like brioche, drops back the dryness a little bit, but all of that toasted oak just really comes to the fore.
So I think I've often heard spicy and dry was often referred to as being sort of like the profile that wine drinkers would gravitate towards. And I think toasted oak and vanilla is probably going to be in a similar sort of vein. If you like your spicy and dry or juicy oak and vanilla, I'd say this profile's a really good amalgam of those two legacy profiles. And I'm a huge fan of JOV as well. So I think this is going to be one that I'm going to be scoping out bottlings in this profile more and more.
I know Mark's made a bit of a amusing comment here, which is true. Both these distilleries may or may not start with Strath.
Well, Strath one of these.
But it's also worth noting they're both from Speyside. They're both first fill ex-bourbon hogsheads, and they're both 14 years old with very similar ABVs, yet they taste completely different. I know they're two different distilleries, but still,
isn't that cool? That is a good point. They both start with Strath. They're both first fill ex-bourbon hoggies for 14 years. Like they're identical age and cask type.
55.9% versus 53.5. I mean, 2% difference there.
Yeah, barely. Yeah, 2% difference, and
these are the whiskeys that I love. That Society does. Think about these two distilleries in particular. There's a certain range that comes to mind, Flora and Fauna, which I don't think the first one would have been bottled under. Definitely, this distillery was.
This was.
And sometimes they were tantalizingly good, but left you wanting a bit more. And the fact that you guys are bottling the whiskeys that you would often sort of imagine and want to get your hands on. That's great. Great start. Kudos.
They're good.
This goes to a question that we had at the No Stupid Questions live stream that we did this week. What was that? Tuesday?
It's been a long week.
Monday.
Yesterday?
It was Monday. That was 2 days ago.
Wow.
Today's Friday,
Okay.
right?
It's Friday, right?
Recently, we had a question about the sort of second tier distilleries that we bottle a lot of whiskey from, that you don't get to see as single malt very often, but that shine in the society, that really like you get to see that the good side of the little scene distilleries, which is great. I love those as well.
The unsung heroes, I think, have they referred to before?
That's probably a better way to put it.
The unsung heroes, yeah.
I think this is, I did, again, nerding out, read a lot of Gavin D. Smith's articles on the unsung hero distilleries, published in Unfiltered previously. I'm a huge fan of Gavin's writing. And he's writing on some of the distilleries that we're talking about tonight. I just think it's fantastic. Uncovering the history of it, bringing it to the modern day. And those distilleries are, well represented tonight. So excited to get into it.
Yeah, it's a good call, and his writings are phenomenal on that subject.
Yeah. But what I especially love about it, sorry to get rightly, is he makes them, he covers all the detail, but sort of doesn't get bogged down in it as well. So you get a sense of why these whiskies aren't bottled very often, don't really end up in independent bottlers' hands too often either. But you still get to see why it exists, where it's placed within the modern Scotch whisky world. So yeah, strongly recommend for society members. Checking out some of his articles to get a bit more info on these distilleries.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And if anyone does have any questions that they want to submit to our episode 2 of No Stupid Questions, scan the QR code and input them.
Yeah, just throw your questions in. Episode 1 was just a couple of nights ago. Episode 2 will be in May, but now's a good time to start getting your questions in before we do another recording.
Speaking of questions, Jim Jazzles asks, what bar is the SMWS representative in South Australia? We have a few in South Australia, actually. We have RLF, Ralph Louis Frederick, and the downstairs bar, Haynes & Co. Thank you. And Spire and Wright. I believe it's just those two. Oh, no, of course. And the Blues Bar.
The Blues Bar.
Blues Bar. No, because we did an incredible live music event there. And I remember Memphis Slims. That's the one.
Yes, Memphis Slims.
Yep. Memphis Slims. Incredible stuff for live music and SMWS whiskey. Yeah. So 3 bars all up on our website. If anyone needs to check out where their partner bars are, smws.com.au, partner bars, all listed there.
Yeah. Haynes and Ralph, fantastic. Love Marcus Mottram, love his work. Got to catch up with him last year. He's a great egg. Does amazing stuff with whiskey in South Australia, that's for sure.
Between him and Simon Spire, really just like driving the South Australian whiskey scene. And also a special shout out to Nermal, who's our new South Australian state ambassador, who's going to do a fantastic job of looking after members and bringing that whiskey enthusiasm to the society in South Australia at the moment, which has been great to hear.
Cool. Who is also currently working on the new Flavour Profile event in Adelaide. So look out for that in the coming weeks, because that will be sometime in June.
Very exciting. Nice. Are we going to dance dirty?
I think we will. Zach, take us away.
We'll pour first this time.
I thought you were going to start dancing, but no, you probably need to grab the bottles from the secret room.
Secret room. This room does exist. I just passed that to someone.
It's got nothing to do with Zach just about to return with a bottle.
Hey, wait, how did he go to the right side of the screen when? Oh wow, how did you do that? That's amazing. Now, I was really excited by this bottling appearing as part of the new Flavour Profiles. This is Sweet and Zesty. This is a new profile, like all 8 are new profiles. But this is a new profile that explores that style of whiskey that sort of looks after things like orange peel, gummy bears, sour apple sweets, creme brulee, sherbet, and marmalade. This is Sweet and Zesty, really sort of, if you liked that sort of, well, you'd say like sweet, fruity, and mellow profile, and a little bit of that sort of like
spicy and sweet, I'd say as well.
Yeah, spicy and sweet to some extent, and that's sort of amalgam these two.
Young and sprightly. I mean, that's the thing. There's no like, except for maybe Coastal Maritime, there's no real direct comparison. It's an amalgamation of a few.
But I got really excited by this because, first of all, we've seen some 41s through the society in recent years, 41.185, so 185 casks in nearly 45 years. Is quite a bit from this distillery. This is a Diageo workhorse of a distillery, and this is also one that we usually see in sherry. So we normally see this code, or we have in recent years, in refill or first fill Oloroso or PX, which is a lot of fun. Like we've had some cracking deep rich and dried fruits 41s through, but seeing one like this in its, I think this is just such an honest example of this distillate. First fill ex-bourbon hoggy again, the third time in a row, 12-year-old, but from Distillery 41. And this distillery has quite a heavy distillate.
Yeah.
And I always find that I almost said the word. The distillery has such a heavy distillate. We do our best not to try and say the distillery names. The distillery is not the story here. The flavor profiles.
We're only 3 drams in, so
I know we'll get there. We'll get there. And this is just such a I almost get like that martini note on this one.
Yeah, right,
like I get like almost like a vanilla ice cream and toasted marshmallows, and it's just
That's interesting. It's leaning more with the zesty for me.
Mm.
It's going more towards that, like lemon zest, orange zest.
Yeah, nice.
I think the through line of spice that's classic to this distillery though is right there, which is great.
Has anyone tasted it yet? Because it's definitely got some zest on the palate.
I just tasted it. I know why it's called Dancing Dirty in a way now. It's there is a bit of grit to that spirit.
Does it take you back?
Take you where?
I think the comedy festival's finished, Adam. It's fine. You can hold on to your zingers if you want.
The which festival?
The what?
Sorry?
Mind.
Yeah, never mind.
I don't know. I get more of the dirty dancing on the nose around the palate. The palate is really together for me. I was expecting like a little bit more funk and zaniness, but it's wow.
The funk and zaniness is on the nose for you, is it?
Yeah.
You're right.
There's so much going on the nose. I get like almost like what do you call it? Grated nutmeg on
Yeah,
like
right.
Yep.
Like fresh nutmeg. And,
Yep. I've graded so much bad off nutmeg over the years.
Oh, really?
That's where I go to straight away. I'm like, oh god, I shouldn't be using this.
Every Christmas, the same eggnog just destroyed by some crap nutmeg. Yep,
was
good.
I this last Christmas as well? Or?
Yeah. Oh wow. Peppery says Betty there.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Peppy.
Yeah, see, I'm getting the opposite to you, Luke. I'm getting more of that sort of zest funk on the palate, and the nose for me is.
I think my brain is maybe leading towards the some of the distillery bottlings and some of the other bottlings where that like the sherry just really amps it up. But yeah, great. This is exciting. I like this one.
Yeah,
I'm actually getting a bit of savory on this nose, almost like what Zach was getting on marmalade and mint in the last one.
Yeah, right.
Kind of some of that rye and pumpernickel.
It's like it's also 100 proof. This one naturally 100 proof, 57.1%. Look at that.
Is that exactly 100 proof? Is it?
It is. In the old system, yeah. Sorry, Is
that 100 British proof or American proof?
It's 100 British proof.
Okay.
You got to fact check that.
Am I wrong? Do you think it's? Are you fact checking 100 proof? 100 British proof, not 100 American.
That's what's important tonight.
Yeah, that's what's important. Yeah, thanks, guys. Thanks. You know what? I'm going to be honest. A bottle of this would vanish in my house.
Yeah.
This is just such an easy drinker. This is so much fun. This would be a tumbler dram on a Saturday afternoon kind of whiskey. It's complex without being over the top. It's fun, but also it's cheerful, and it's savory enough that I like it. It's sweet enough that I enjoy it. It's like it's got a bit of everything going on this one. Sorry, Zach, have you fact checked me? Have I missed something?
57.2. Thank you.
No, come on. It's 57.2.
That's why Zach's the numbers
1% ABV out.
Correct.
The British government will come collect their tax revenue from you any moment now.
You were actually
0.1.
0.05% out because it's 57.15, but they round to 57.
Oh, no. I'm taking the 0.1 then. I'm taking the 0.1. Sorry, that's it. Now,
that's Matt. He's always rounding down. I'm rounding up for the members.
Again, that's why you're in membership services.
That's right.
Member services rounds up for our members. Let's get that. That's a quote, isn't it? That's a Zach quote. Put that in your email signature, mate. That's
Next out to
yeah. You're sorted. Now,
We'll do your headshots, campaign photo.
Now, this distillery, you've had a bit of you know a bit of. You've had a bit of experience with over the years.
Love it. Yes, love distillery bottlings. Sort of odd and unique as well. There's a lot you can nerd out with.
Flora and fauna as well, isn't it?
Their whiskey,
Flora and
fauna bottlings. We used to smash through at Whiskey Element all the time. I used to get through all of those. Always just been fascinated by what they're able to achieve in the distillery. It sort of speaks to elements of the industry working with different things in condensers and stainless steel and blah, which create a different character in a whiskey. So,
as well as author, columnist, writer, journalists, and extraordinaire. I mean, Luke has also been behind the bar at Whiskey Element for years, and you've helped out with Brook and Jules in building that place from the Shea days onwards.
Yeah.
One of Luke's favorite orders, next time you know that he's going to be behind the bar, is to order 5 different cocktails and ask Luke to make them.
Where's Kimmy?
Where is she? Where is she?
Or Lucky. Or where are they?
Where are they?
It was me and the Tasmanians. All the Tasmanians that came up and worked in Whiskey Element. Yeah, the multiple cocktail orders. I'll take one of everything on the cocktail.
Yeah, one of each. One of each.
Sure, you don't want.
I'm sure I can't get 5 old fashions for you.
Yeah.
No, one of each.
Or I could do 5 different tastings.
Can we do a flight? We'll do a flight instead.
5 flights.
No such luck.
Luke, are you still behind the bar occasionally at a nice little Irish bar in Northcote by any
I
chance?
do skip behind there every now and then, and I'm lucky to present pretty regular tastings there as well. So, yeah, love it.
Cool.
Love it. Tastings will ramp up soon, along with a whole bunch of other things. So, still love the tastings. The Whiskey Element.
We're talking about Buck Mulligans.
Buck Mulligans, yeah.
Oh yeah, nice. Yeah.
Buck Mulligans.
Good. Excellent.
Great Irish whiskey selection. So, yeah, good fun.
Great. So again, a distillery that you don't see much of in core range, which is something that Luke was saying before about that we champion really well at Society. But I'm really excited by Sweet and Zesty as a profile. I think it's one that I'm certain members will connect with. I really enjoy, and it's just like it's that amalgam of sort of, as we said, it's what would you say, Adam? It's like spicy and sweet meets.
Meets young and sprightly and spicy and spicy and sweet, young and sprightly, and I think you said sweet, fruity, and mellow.
Yeah, probably SFM as well. Yeah. That sweet, fruity, mellow sort of style.
I would say my advice to all members, I mean, not just for this flavor profile, for all of them, because we've had a little bit of feedback so far where everyone's brains are wired that they see the orange and they instantly think it's going to be a sherry cask or a HTMC or something because it's deep rich and dried fruits in the previous flavor profile, though this orange is a lot more vibrant. Read the label on the bottle because then you will see that quite a few of them are actually bourbon cask. No one
it's almost it's a very light orange. But the menu makes it look a bit darker. The photo in our printed menu makes it look maybe that photo does as well. It looks almost like
that's like, an shot right there.
It's quite a vibrant. It's a sunburst orange, if you like.
Yeah,
on the actual bottle, it's lovely.
But with all of them, just read
we're more of a Fender family around here. Sorry, mate. Okay.
Yeah, that's true, actually.
Hey, wasn't I playing Les Paul recordings in the office the other day?
Oh,
they're unbelievable.
You mentioned the Les Paul recordings.
No, sorry. Nerding out over some guitar recordings that got the team all shook. I won't do that again.
Yeah, that was my first electric as well. I'm an do fuck too.
I think they had sunburst.
They did, actually, yeah. They had like a nice red sunburst as well. Shall we move on? I hear a deep and rumbling intensity coming on.
Deep and rumbling intensity. 44.193. The new dried fruits and spices. This is probably the profile that most closely replaces what we knew as deep, rich, and dried fruits. But dried fruits and spices keeps the which glass would you like? That one, please, mate. Keeps the story open to. The camera's over there, by the way. You're in front of it. take one of those.
Were you trying to hide that or?
Amazing. Hey, if you go live, you're gonna have problems. Yeah, you go live. Are you quoting the Fox News thing?
Sorry, guys, I had to get some bottles from somewhere.
Oh, the nose on this 44 is just bending my brain already. I know it's got age on it, but it really smells like it does. You know how sometimes you have some whiskeys that are like 20 years old, and you're like, oh, that could be a 12 or 13-year-old whiskey. And the flip side does happen sometimes where you taste like I remember we had an 8-year-old Longmorn some years ago that was called mature way beyond its years, and that was because the panel knows this 8-year-old Longmorn that doesn't smell like an 8-year-old Longmorn. It smells like a 20-year-old Longmorn, and that does happen sometimes. It's very uncommon, but in this case. And we also recently had a 30-year-old whiskey from Distillery 53 that smelled like it could have been a 15-year-old whiskey because it was so vibrant still. Yeah, right. And it's live. We're just live. We're making mistakes as we go here. Oh, you guys already poured the next one as well, just in case, have you? That's good news. That's good news. Okay, well, let's have those ahead. So 44, the worm type distillate is really shining through on the 44, says Matt Arkley. Meaty, a little rubbery. Yeah, this is a worm type distillery. This is the backbone of for those playing along. This is the backbone of Dewar's, really, and has been for a long time. And it would be called in Scotland a dressing malt. Is the phrase that you often hear. Is that like this is, whereas a distillery like 41, like we just came from, would often be called sort of a staple, and that's sort of like one of the standards that it's used for the building of a blend. This would be the dressing malt. This is sort of like this is the top dresser, as they sometimes call it, of like really adding the character. So it's the fact that we get a single cask. And by the way, we've got bugger all of this. We've got 30 bottles of this in the country, which is, there's 208 bottles were yielded globally from the cask.
And I believe more than half are already gone as well, by the way.
Yeah, more than half of these are already gone. It's just so let's just explore dried fruits and spices as a new profile for a second. Looking at things like clove, mulled wine, nutmeg, mincemeat pies, gingerbread, chili chocolate. What do we got? Cinnamon Danish, treacle toffee, cardamom. So you're expecting more of those sort of like savory spices, Christmas fruit cake, sort of like bready, jammy, ginger, cocoa, old leather, tobacco, those kind of notes that you're getting out of some of these whiskeys. And I think this one carries this as an introduction to this profile. I think this is just perfect.
So we're thinking we'll see more of the spices of the deep, rich and dried fruits, the deepness and the richness, rather than the sweetness of the sherry cask in this profile.
I mean,
sort of transferring over to those other
like ripe fruits and honey and
I think we should answer that in a sort of a backwards way of saying that it's just worth noting that profiles are not determined by the casks. That we'll probably see sherry casks in toasted oak and vanilla. We'll see sherry casks in fragrant and floral. Even it's the flavor is determined by the flavor, not by any other factor. So the factor is obviously the flavor is developed by the spirit and the cask and the time and everything, and the spirit and the distillate character and all the other things. But yeah, I think we'll see. I mean, we'll see sherry casks in this one probably quite a bit, but more maybe of the savory, more of the sort of the fruits and spices rather than sweets and candies sort of thing.
Yeah, that's just great. I love it.
Yeah, it's just it's just
super meaty.
Isn't it just like just carries that? There's almost like Zach. Were we talking about this the other day about headroom? Like in a spirit, this one's got headroom. This one's got like.
We were talking about hi-fi then, yeah.
Yeah, but it was in hi-fi, but it was also in whiskey.
Yeah, then we translated to spirits.
Yeah, we transferred the conversation to spirits. I mean, because we could. Yeah, it's like it's got the headroom. It's got this space above the spirit. Yeah. It's not so compact. It's like it's like this rather than this on the scale.
Yeah,
so, like the broad spectrum on the flavor of this. I love it.
Dark Mod says meat pie meets minced tart.
Yeah.
That's a cool tasting note. Yeah. Dark Mods. That's a good tasting note.
That's a cool SMWS bottle name, actually.
Can we steal that? Can we use that for a bottling name? Do you mind? Thanks. There's
royalty fee.
There's no. We'll send you a bottle if we use that. There you go.
You'll be hearing from us. Yeah.
You'll be hearing from our lawyers.
Yeah, actually, that's just probably not as boisterous as what I was expecting as well. Like that.
Yeah,
we're really together.
It's really like
so seamless.
Have you visited Distillery 44?
I have, yeah. And the smell, as you're entering, It's hard to forget.
It has got quite a smell. This distillery.
What's the smell like? Tell us.
Thing going on.
Bovril meaty.
I think someone like maybe a bit cabbagey.
Bonox. Go drink some Bonox, folks. That's what you need. You need some Bonox in your life.
Yeah, sherry does something different to it as well, doesn't it? You can tell.
Yeah.
It's nice. There's not that it doesn't feel like there's too much sulfur going on.
No,
It's
not at
not.
all.
I don't think there's even any going on from that cask. I think that's spirit sulfur we're getting in that.
Yeah, which is to be expected, but oftentimes it gets a little out of control with these heavy sherry. Not so much from us, but on the broader market.
Yeah. Yeah, I think as well. I've been a lot of distilleries I've talked to recently. They love the way that this certain distillery and many others have sort of played with that. I guess the idea of speaking about the character that was maybe a decade or two before seen as very complicated. It was bound up in, people not liking certain flavors, certain very influential whiskey critics not liking certain flavors, one of which is seminal to this particular distillery. So, yeah, it's fascinating to see how that conversation has evolved. Distilleries in Australia, distilleries in even the US that I'm seeing, some in Scandinavia that are looking to sort of create a spirit style. Definitely a lot of the new age sort of Scottish whiskey distilleries that are looking at exploring and heroing this flavor in their whiskeys. So
out of all of the new distilleries that have popped up in Scotland over the past 20 years or so, I'd wager at least a third of them have worm tubs.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? It's like instead of them going, then we're going with modern shell and tube, we want that worm tub character. We want that heavy distillate. I do think about that sometimes. I thought about this the other day about how, these guys have been creating worm tub spirit since, I can't remember what year this distillery was founded. Let's presume pre-1900.
1890s, I think.
Yeah, 1890s, yeah. Probably in that Victorian confidence era of everyone opening at the same time. But this is this modern crop of distilleries, which we'll get into actually as we get to distillery 149 later on, but how they're now trying to create that style. They're trying to create that sort of style of heavy sort of, not heavy, but interesting spirit that's not just high volume, high yield kind of stuff. Yeah.
This is also the kind of spirit that comes to its fullest potential after 15 or 20 years, and it can go the distance of 30, 40, 50 years without dying, without being overpowered. And that's something to aspire to, really, because whiskey is a long game, isn't it?
Yeah. Can I just do a quick shout out to Darren and Carla, who've just commented here, only because you know what? I never know where you guys are in the world, and it's so good to see you commenting. It's so good that you might...
two days ago they were in Tokyo, I believe, because they just popped in at the end of our No Stupid Questions episode.
Yeah, and we saw your comment come in right at the end there, Darren. We'd just gone off live, and we're like, "Oh no, they've just arrived." It was like, oh well. Join us for the next No Stupid Questions, of course. But tonight's all about the flavor profiles, and I think that's a really good entry into dried fruit and spices. Yep. That's fantastic.
Yeah,
that's just
cracking.
The nose just keeps giving and giving. That's really good. I'm really happy with that. And I think, by the way, I know I'm biased. This is super biased, but $330 for a 20-year-old single cask from that particular distillery. From that distillery and of that quality of Spanish oak, I think is just remarkably good value in this day and age. So
I think all the ones we've tasted so far have been stupidly good value.
Oh yeah. Especially 41. That 41 for 180.
We have no
one now.
No. Bye.
No. He didn't. Okay. He did. So you guys already pre-poured the next one. By the way, again, at home, we encourage you to take this at whichever pace you best want to. Luke, you pour your own dram for this one. Thank you. We're moving to another heavy distillery. Another worm tub distillery here, which is not by design, I don't think, but just how we thought the flavor profiles would go well in this order, and I think they are so far. We're moving to fragrant and floral, haystacks and a bouquet of daisies in our fragrant and floral profile. If you took Young and Sprightly and mixed it with sweet, fruity, and mellow, I think that's a fair assessment of the sort of where this sort of profile sits. It's a very sort of
that smells
white
great.
pink.
This smells like oatmeal, like strawberry up and go.
Yeah, strawberry up and go is a good call. Good call.
This is so good.
I'm also getting like Earl Grey tea.
Oh.
Like I'm getting an Earl Grey note, which I love that Earl Grey note in a whiskey. It's because I finish most nights with
Yeah.
right. I finish most nights with an Earl Grey. Yeah, I love an Earl Grey. It's my favorite tea.
Have you ever tried it with milk?
I used to drink tea with milk. I can't do it anymore.
Earl Grey with milk, you ever tried it?
No.
It's
talking about the whiskey, they're talking about tea.
But I did try it recently because we had too much Easter chocolate left over. And I just thought, actually, this Earl Grey is going to go a little bit better with a little bit of Easter chocolate.
This is an episode of McCarthy and the Twins coming out here. We'll get too much Easter chocolate.
Yes, 2 a.m. in the morning.
Oh my God.
Yes, I'm not sleeping again tonight. Great.
Yeah, great. I guess I'll survive on Easter bunnies again. You know? So tell us, Luke, have you had much experience with a Distillery 48? And this is a bit of a sleeper distillery for us. I always call it a sleeper distillery because it's like it reminds me of Distillery 76, but it's not nearly as sexy. It's a sleeper. Yeah, it's like again a distillery that not many people know about. It's not really talked about. They don't have a core range. There's no, it's even in independent circles. It's not really. There's not much of it around. Like you don't see this bottled regularly.
No. What, to be a handful of distillery bottlings around. I'm not sure if there's any historical ones floating about. If you check, maybe.
Yeah, I don't think there are any distillery bottlings now. Yeah. I don't think there are any.
Yeah, there was a Flora and Fauna bottling. I remember.
Oh, there was. Okay, yep.
But how long it was released for, I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, look, an underrated make though.
Yeah,
it's talked about again and again how much flavor it packs. I love the dressing malt that you were talking about as well. I'm not sure, how would you describe this then as a malt fitting into a blend?
Yeah, I mean, I always find it again. It's a bit like more like it's got that sort of like heavy distillate, but really light cask profiles. We often see it in. Yeah, we often see it in refill wood because that's what they mostly fill into as well. And first fill wood in this case, first fill like bourbon barrel would be uncommon for the distillery to fill into first fill. Yeah, I don't know whether this would fit in their landscape, but you can be guaranteed that most of it goes into Johnny Walkers of the world and whatnot.
Yeah. Definitely grassy. I've always got a grassy element to it. Definitely getting that as well.
I'd love to hear in the comments of what people think of this new fragrant and floral. I think it's on the lighter side of profiles. It's got that sort of like bright fruits and floral notes, and I think that's what we'll see. That sort of thing, like petals and daisies. And Zach, what's your?
This is going to be one of the more spirit forward categories. Do you reckon?
I'd probably so. I'd probably say so. Yeah. I'd call this whiskey spirit forward. I think that's pretty safe, of course.
And in a really good way, because it's lost all of the aggression sort of to the cask, but it's still showing all of the key elements that we would expect from it, which is great. It's exactly what you want from a whiskey, really.
I think it's remarkably well integrated, 59%, just in a single bourbon barrel as well, not even a hoggy as we've been enjoying for the first part of the evening. It's got no heat to it, no bite. It's just beautifully, like on the palate, I'm getting a lot of Hubba Bubba bubblegum, continuing that sort of perfumed pink color notes. This is a really, really nice whiskey.
I get a sort of, as well as what we talked about before, I get like a musk stick note.
Yeah.
Like almost like pink musk sticks, and I think it's
Perfect for the
you put them on your teeth.
Yeah. You know the ones I'm talking about.
I know what you mean. Yeah. I know the ones you mean.
Influenced by marketing.
I think as well for me, it's fascinating. You would never, like, as a distillery owner, if you owned a distillery and you did single malt a lot, you would almost never bottle it in this fashion as well. Which to me is really fun and really different. It's such a different expression of this distillery. You would sort of be trying to, fragrant and floral is probably not something I'd associate this distillate with normally.
No.
It's just, I actually, that to me is a real sleeper. I know it's probably not the most like immediately like, oh, I love it, but a lot of complexity there as well.
Yeah. A lot of complexity. I'm really loving this as well. This is the second time I've tasted this, but this tastes a lot different from the first time. I think it's just maybe it's the order we've had it in or how my palate's
I think in the previous tastings, like with whiskey and almond training or even staff training, we've had this quite early on. But I think tonight we're pretty much going by ABV.
All right, yeah.
Lowest to highest. So it fits well, and you kind of think looking at the profile alone that it might not, because some of the others have been a bit heavier in nature, but this works.
Yeah, it does work.
It's still got plenty.
Yeah. Betty says it's a bit sweet for her, which is okay because we're getting into your
Everything
favorite soon.
all of the tasting notes we've seen are like linked to sweetness in some way. It's definitely a sweet whiskey,
except for the buffalo mozzarella note. That's a bit rogue.
Mozzarella. Did you say that with an Italian accent just then?
No.
No.
With a Greek accent.
Oh, nice try, mate. Nice try. Anyway, hey, remember we're live. So yeah, this is a lot of fun. Again,
I think this is actually so far. This is probably my favorite pick. It's between this and
cool.
I think my favorite pick still has to be marmalade and mint, but I have bought one of those because I think it's great. So
that's fair enough. That was good.
They've all had. I think whoever picked the lineup has done a great job of exemplifying all of the flavor profiles.
Oh, shut up! It's just gloating. He's just gloating over here that he. Adam, okay, to give you all full credit where it's due, Adam did pick this lineup, and I think it's a really good example of these 8 new profiles and everything the tasting panel have done to bring this to life.
And the reasoning behind it was
skills to pay the bills, mate. That's how it works.
Got to pay the bills. But I mean, as you guys have all sort of alluded to, and some of you might have noticed, part of the reason I picked this lineup was because almost none of them are really superstar codes or, highly sought after distillery codes. They're just good spirit.
Yeah.
And I thankfully it's paid off.
I've parked my 44 for later. I'm going to leave that aside over here. That's right. We'll come back to it.
I was doing the same, actually.
Darren says, finding the nose is beautiful and delicate, but the palate is so much deeper, robust, and bold. Interesting contrast.
Spot on.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah. So we're going to head into the next dram here. I got some of it in your glass. That's fine. Yeah, you're welcome.
We are 5 in at the moment. Our virtual tastings would usually end around here.
Sorry, we can squeeze to 8. We're fine. Now it's not really. Look, hey, just folks. Luke's locking in now. Now, this next whiskey we're tasting is Barfly in the Coastal and Maritime 149.9. It is a 9-year-old first Felix bourbon barrel in the new Coastal and Maritime profile. Now, Adam made mention this just earlier. This new profile, is the most closely linked to an existing one of Oily and Coastal. So this is pretty much a 1-for-1 swap. Members love Oily and Coastal. We've got a good supply of that kind of style of spirit coming out from around the world. So that one is one that's going to maintain. We just got a new name, which made a bit more sense because sometimes you'd have a coastal whiskey and sometimes have a sort of like an oily whiskey, and maybe they don't. It's like, how would that work for Oily and Coastal? So this one I'm going to rename as to Coastal and Maritime. The color's almost identical. In fact, I haven't done a side by side, but that blue is maybe slightly brighter. But
again, it's just more vibrant. Pretty much all the colors that are still used. The red is more vibrant than the Old and Dignified. The ripe fruits and honey is more vibrant than the spicy and sweet. Even the toasted oak and vanilla is more vibrant than the spicy and dry. So this Coastal and Maritime, when you see it in person on the bottle, it is definitely more vibrant than the Oily and Coastal.
And this is just to talk about this whiskey for a second. We don't talk distillery names, but it is the distillery itself is located on the far Ardnamurchan Peninsula of Scotland. Sneaky.
Yeah.
Did you like that one? And also, this is actually the oldest, if not one of the oldest independently bottled spirits of this distillery. They've only just released their 10-year-old late last year. And so to see, we've got a bit of a tacit agreement with the distillery that as long as we can't release whiskey that's older than what they're releasing at the moment, which is, I think that's kind of fair. That's kind of fair. They get first dibs of putting a 10-year-old out, but this is like it's a 9-year-old though.
Also, Matt, and I'll just very quickly bump in here, but the amount of times you've said this is the oldest expression from this distillery, because as you just pointed out, we pretty much always bottle the oldest expression bar from themselves doing it because of our incredible relationship with them.
Exactly. And this is 61.1%. As Adam said, we've been moving up in proof a little bit here. First Felix bourbon barrel for 9 years in the coastal and maritime. It is technically unpeated spirit from this distillery, technically unpeated, but that means it's still got that lovely sort of like coastal sort of style of how they make whiskey. I think this is a marvelous spirit, and great to see. Like, it gets that sort of camphor and cooking oil and thing going on in this one, which I love. It's rustic. It's almost like damper and oil in a glass. It's a bit machinery parts. It's a bit metal shavings. It's a bit sort of iron filings, but in a good way. It's all that sort of like, it's still honeyed and it's still fruity and it's still got so much character. So what was that, Zach?
Almost Campbelltowny.
Especially on
that's
the
a
palate,
very good call.
Especially on the palate.
Almost
Like that kippery. There's a kippery sort of slight butterscotch to it, I reckon.
Yeah. There's
Actually,
something
good,
like almost like a honey soy glaze, but I'm not sure that's what I'd call it. But it's along those lines.
That's good stuff.
bit of a
Matt,
plug for sorry, yeah, go ahead.
They clean their stills between their peated and their unpeated runs, or if they just sort of let it wash through and catch the residual.
I'm afraid to say I've not been to this distillery, and I don't know the answer to that. They might catch residual. It's probably the hardest distillery in Scotland to get to. It's like it's 5 hour one way and then 5 hour back again sort of trip to get to it's easier to get to Torrevieja.
You go from north to south of Scotland quicker than that, I reckon.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. North to south has got roads. East to west doesn't. That's the problem. But yeah, it's and then you're relying on CalMac on probably numerous parts of your journey on different ferries actually showing up.
Can you not just use the Bailey copter?
The Bailey copter could also get you there, of course. I keep it parked just near Edinburgh somewhere. If you find it, just take it to the distillery. That's fine.
Beautiful.
It's in West Point, just on the west side of West Point. Unbelievable.
This is very. I think it's fair in saying this is quite different to some of the other 149s we've had, especially the ones in previously the Orlean Coastal flavor profile, which is nice because this is it's barely coastal for me.
I would say so. Yeah, I think it's almost heading into toasted oak territory, but it does have all of that machinery, minerality that we were talking about that really lands it in the blue.
I think one of the notes I had when I first tried this in March was it was like the nose reminded me of like the floor of a fish and chippery near the coast sort of thing.
Yeah, good call. Luke, have you've obviously tasted quite a bit from this distillery, and they've been quite prolific in their early years, in the last sort of 3 to 5 years of releases.
Look, I mean, as I would agree with most people, it's the modern classic, really, isn't it? That's the way it's shaping up. I'm always interested to see where certain distilleries move from like the old school part of the books into like the established. I mean, because these this particular distillery must be right on that cusp. From it's a fascinating bridge between some of the newer distilleries that have been established in Scotland and some of the the other distilleries that are being established now and that are to come. There's so much just brilliance about the way they go about it. Flavor and distillate wise, they've just given us so much. They've had a great relationship with Australia. As I think I might have seen maybe that you might be doing some sort of tasting with one of these distilleries at some point moving forward.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
But they've got a great relationship with Australia. They've serviced Australia well, and so we've really got to go on the journey of the distillery over the last sort of few years. And yeah, I mean, I think I'm constantly blown away by the divergence in the single cask in particular. The single cask that the SMWS has bottled, some of them are wildly different from what you've seen. Obviously, different distillate character, peating regimes is contributing there, but also like just straight distillate character and cask character. Where sometimes you're getting that minerality, sometimes you're getting more like heavy funk sort of coastal style. So it's a throwback to what Scottish whiskey was, but it's also like a signal to where Scottish whiskey's going. So I'm always, like I said earlier, there's a lot of distilleries doing that throwback style.
and I'm not sure. I'm always a bit sort of like funny about that
Yeah, right.
because
Okay.
I think it's a good thing, but at the same time, it's like it's a lot of looking backwards. Does that make
True.
sense? And you say that sometimes it should be a shot towards the future as well, and I'm all for that. But if the whole of Scotch whiskey always just goes for this, well, here's how it used to be, so you see if we can try and do it like that. It doesn't really foster innovation. It sort of just, I don't know. It's a whole topic that I get sort of wrapped up in sometimes.
But I think you got to get.
reckon
You
it's
find the
about-
balance. You find the balance. I think we're found
Innovative enough.
Yeah.
That you've got to recognize that this is a 300+ year old industry in that country.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit,
Just a little bit.
just 300 years.
Just a little bit.
Unless it's 1,000, 1,000 years of
There's history,
Oh, yeah, absolutely. No, I get that. That's good.
I mean, the pushes on. I mean, I've been like you. I've been staggered by the move towards that discovering a new angle.
I think it's great.
At the same
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
I mean, distilleries in Japan. It's fascinating seeing distilleries in Japan trying to recreate what Scottish single malt whiskey was like in the 50s and 60s, which is, it shows you.
I saw
Shows
the
you a
thing
lot about
recently.
Japanese
Yeah,
whiskey.
it does. Yeah.
So,
That doesn't reflect well for everyone.
Yeah, no, I think it is. Like that
Okay.
to me is exciting and positive, and I'm massively excited about this new phase of new Scottish distilleries as well. I'm hoping. I don't think I'll get a chance, but I'm going to be there in a month. So fingers crossed, trying to get get some of them
via Dallas and Thailand or something. You got to get there somehow.
Yeah, somehow. Yeah, via
But yeah, I can't believe I came out as the more jaded one in that one. But anyway,
exactly, no.
especially coming from you. There you go.
Yeah. Oh, thanks.
You're very welcome.
Thanks for
No,
being
you're
right.
welcome. No, you're welcome.
Betty Petrie made a really good point, like mead with water, but also the salty smell of sea breeze, which I think
Very
is
good
very
point.
spot on.
We're heading into your territory, Betty. These are your drams now.
Yeah, these last two are gonna you'll love
Yeah,
them.
yeah, they're gonna
Yeah, rock and roll.
yeah. I think these new profiles are really exciting. As just as a general comment, just the fact that I think they're much more focused, and I think I think this lineup, especially that you picked at them, is just a chance for us to really explore them and say that there's some. Oh, there they are, and those tasting notes you can see on that wheel there are just, I guess they're not. You shouldn't expect that from every single cask in that profile, but that's kind of like what sort of the general sort of benchmarks of what you'd expect. And I think if you start there when you're selecting your whiskeys, saying, what am I really into? I think that's a really good sort of starting point. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shall we
Oh,
go
there
into
he is.
peated territory?
Yeah. Shall we go into the peated? Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Or should I say smoky and fruity territory?
Oh, there you go. And this is for the folks. This is the lime green capped bottle this time. We've gone from the sort of light green, medium green, and dark green to positively lime green. It really is quite bright, this green in these new bottles.
Damn.
Please, sir. What a cool name this bottling is. Better with smoked bacon.
This is my pick from this outturn.
Yeah. I know you love this one, and I when I tasted this at Whisk and Ham, and I was like, this is very cool.
Yeah.
That's very cool. I'm getting a lot of that rendered fat that the bacon sort of suggests, but that is good.
Yeah.
Cheese balls.
Cheese balls.
Yeah. Cheetos.
Cool. Those Cheeto balls. Cheese and bacon Cheetos. Yeah.
That's my favorite peated note. Tigi says the Taz state manager has a special place for the old legacy spicy and dry flavor profile. I wonder which of the new profiles will earn a similar place. Whichever one 105 is in the most, I'm sure.
Yeah. Unless we get any canvas through, exactly. Any 105s.
But he's getting pumped for it. We love to see it.
This is very cool, this one. So smoky and fruity. What we've done with the peated profiles, just to give a bit of context to these new peated profiles that we're tasting here. We used to have lightly peated, and heavily peated. Of course, beside that was Orlean Coastal, which is also often peated spirit. But of those three peated profiles, we found that identifying those between lightly, medium, and heavy wasn't really telling enough of a story about how peated whiskey works. There's peated whiskey and there's smoky whiskeys. And I think this is a really good opportunity for us to say This is smoky and fruity, so you can expect things like 122s and 66s and other things where they're like probably more mainland peat, but sometimes Isla peat as well. Maybe 3s and 53s will fall in here.
I'll just very quickly butt in. Sorry, Matt. Also 3s, 53s, 10s. We have whiskies coming in the next few months from all those profiles. Even smoky and fruity.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So it's not determined by distillery or again cask type or anything. I think this first one that we're tasting here very much properly falls into the smoky and fruity profile.
Yeah,
it is smoky and it is fruity. It's like
Matthew Arclay says, literally liquid smoked bacon with maple and apple sauce.
Yeah, that's a good call.
Great picture you painted.
I actually get I get like a green olive on this as well.
Oh yeah, green olive. You know, ankle grinder. You know the smell from
like an ankle grinder. Yeah.
Metal
shards,
metal sparks.
Now, like many of you, I'm a huge fan of this distillery. This is like it's so diverse. We've got 5 codes for it. It's so diverse at the society.
You've been to?
Oh yeah, I've walked through with Michael Henry, and he's a gem, and it's just like this such nice people and fantastic site. It's in a bit of a dodgy area. It's in Alexandria. It's this area called Alexandria in Scotland, which is a bit rough. But otherwise, the distillery itself is just gorgeous, and it's like just so diverse. And
169 for that.
Wow!
I'd buy that for $1.
Let me get that.
Zach's getting the QR. Let me just get the.
Zach's gonna get them all.
Gotta catch them all.
Got to catch them all. Yeah. This is great. Great. That's a good call, by the way, Matthew Arclay. Sorry, before. Liquid smoked bacon with maple and apple sauce is a great call.
By the way, before Zach makes his purchase, we literally only have 5 bottles of this left on the website.
5.
This was a top seller for obvious reasons.
Yeah,
it's very good. So if you do want a bottle, it might not last the night.
Yeah. I think this is also one of those examples of really good use of refill HTMC. I do love HTMC, which stands for heavy toast medium char. So it's a type of quite extreme cask treatment for cask rejuvenation, if you like. But the refills of these have been really good. The first fill HTMC often makes some Scotch whiskies, in my opinion, sometimes taste a bit like a bourbon. They taste very sort of like almost like a fresh corn whiskey. But the refills have got this lovely sort of toasty, sort of smoky sort of element to them, which is just lovely.
Another thing that makes this particular cask unique is the fact that typically when we have a further maturation, we'll see X amount of years and then maybe 3 extra years in the second cask, or 4 years, 5 years, 6 years. This was actually 3 years in the ex-bourbon hogshead, and then the next 6 years were in the HTMC refill, which we don't.
So it's almost a reverse, or it's a reverse finish.
Yeah.
Remember those?
Yeah, I remember those. Yeah,
just crazy amount of finishing on those.
Yeah. I think I still have 1 or 2 of those kicking around.
Yeah.
Like it was like a guy Barolo one or something else.
Yeah, because I mean, it's amazing what it does to the profile. This for me is a whiskey that I used to get asked a lot for behind the bar. Like smoking fruit for me.
Smoking fruit,
because it was one of the easiest ways to sort of introduce people to something that was, it's the challenging flavor of Scottish whiskey, but then also when you pair it with some fruit and sort of brighten and liven it up a little bit, then it's much more amenable. So, cracking.
Awesome.
For that price,
169. That's a banger.
Fantastic.
Less than 5 of these left. I've seen a couple of QR scans coming through, so it might be not be left, many left at all.
Coming into winter, give it. Although you wouldn't know it down here, bloody hell. But, but coming into winter like that is dram. That's an autumn to winter dram.
Yeah, that is. That's an autumn into winter dram, which is now. Yeah.
Ish. Yeah.
Ish. Well.
Ish.
Depending on where in this large country we are.
Yeah. Matthew Arclay, you might still be in summer for up there, so we don't know. It's like it's.
I think that's still my favorite so far.
It's very good.
That being said, I'm excited for 10.275.
Yeah, shall we? Shall we see how the new bold and peaty profile stands up?
You get it?
Scooby snack. Now, Luke, you asked before. I'm not sure. What is a Scooby snack?
Now, I don't know.
No.
I recall one night where I
Scooby Doo. What?
No. Hold on. Give us the story.
I
Come on.
might have had a bit of a time in Glasgow.
I might have had a big night in Glasgow.
New Year's Eve, traveling from pub to pub, and I remember it was either something to do with a Scooby snack. Was this like filthy, delicious hangover cure style thing that you would maybe
revolting
after
deep
one or
fried
too
crap
many
or something.
whiskeys, something that you would really get into. That was where my mind went as soon as I heard it, but I'm not sure if that's the reference here or if it's something else. But having done that a few times in Glasgow, if there's anyone with a lot of Glaswegian experience that could enlighten us there.
Are there any Glaswegians or Glaswegian adjacent people? If you're from Edinburgh, you're not allowed to answer this, but if any Glaswegian adjacent people watching along knows like a different kind of Scoob, know what's going on here, know what a Scooby snack is. We could Google it, but we're keen to see what the answers are. Adam, I think, just automatically assumed it has something to do with Scooby-Doo.
Yes, Scooby snack.
No, but the word Scooby is not just exclusively Scooby-Doo.
Yes, it is. What do you mean?
All right, we're doing a quick check here. Here we go. A Scooby snack in Glasgow is a legendary high-calorie breakfast or lunch roll traditionally sold at the Maggie Snack Bar on Byers Road. It typically includes a beef burger, lawn sausage, bacon, potato scone, fried egg, and cheese in a bun. That sounds bloody fantastic. That sounds like one of those super horrible, super like the burger itself only has 5,000 calories, and it's just like you're like, you know what? After a big night, there. So there's Scooby snack on the screen. We've got the bottle here as well. It's the 10.275. It's a 2-to-1. And so it was initial cast of ex-bourbon hogsheads into a final cast maturation of a second fill PX. But
and this actually is a literal 2-to-1 as well.
Yeah, so this was interesting. It says that after 6 years of age, we combined 2 bourbon hogsheads from the same distillery into this cask further maturation and marrying, which was a second fill butt that was previously used mature cask 7.243. So it was kind of like it was an ex-society cask maturation of a second fill PX, but that was used to mature a heavily peated, I should say bold and peaty Distillery 10 from Islay. Now, Zach, I'm going to put you on the spot here. You said earlier that Distillery 10 was like your maybe first or second favorite Islay distillery. Wow.
That was said in confidence, Matthew.
We're live, mate. Jeez.
Wow.
But 100%, why not? Like they have such a I think for me it's and it was second, by the way. I won't say what's first, but the diversity of the spirit that comes out of Distillery 10 is great. And you don't see, except for perhaps Brooklady, anyone else doing a diverse range of spirits on Islay. We get very one-note distillate from a lot of places, and it's great to see this like breadth of flavor over different Distillery 10 releases, especially through the SMWS. We see it in a bunch of different flavor profiles, which is good to see.
Yeah,
I'm sure we'll continue to see it across the dark green, the light green, the blue, the perhaps even into like the reds and the oranges.
I think definitely reds and oranges. Yeah. I'm almost getting well, not almost, I definitely am for a little bit there in the beginning. I was getting like a cinnamon dusting note. It reminded me a lot of this this Greek sweet called a bugatsa, which is like custard, cinnamon, and sort of pastry. It's just that light cinnamon dusting. Beautiful.
I was expecting it to be a bit more brooding than heavy, but there's a lightness to it as well that I wasn't expecting. Is that
definitely,
just me?
No, it's definitely bold and peaty though.
Oh, totally.
Like it's got that lovely like. It's definitely got that sort of like damp, boggy moss wet cardboard thing going on.
Yeah,
that's what we're going to see a lot of in this bold and peaty, isn't it? Is the earthier side of
earthier, richer,
less sort of
bold.
medicinal creosote, iodine. It's more of that, That's what Bunnahabhain for me. Like we always used to use the Bunnahabhain. Oh God, sorry. Well, that's the last
We've done it. We've done it. We've got
Last
it. We
whiskey.
said the word
Yeah,
Bunnahabhain enough times. Yes, it's Distillery 10 is Bunnahabhain. Fine.
We said the other name though.
Hey, I'm pretty sure I haven't mentioned a single name tonight.
No, that was pretty good. That's pretty good. That was very good. Have you visited Bunnahabhain? Have you been to Isla? Have you?
I was actually the thing that brought me to the nose of this immediately was the smell of the still room and the dunnage. Like you get a little bit of that coming on. But I was gonna say that this particular distillery, so fantastic at again introducing people to the peated realm, the Isla realm.
Yep.
Through that, variation in peat style. Well,
I'm going to just reference Brooke at Whiskey and Elmwood, who I think Bunnahabhain 12 was like the peated whiskey for Whiskey and Elmwood for like 10 years. It was like that was a bottle that she said that was like every time they were introducing people to like Isla whiskey was through Bunnahabhain 12. It was like one of those whiskeys where it's like, you know what, if you want to get someone to try and I still think that's a great whiskey. Banging whiskey.
And then, but then, their peated releases started to sort of ramp up and become more popular. So yeah, huge fan. I can see where you're coming from, Zach. I'm right on your page, mate. Right there with you.
Zach,
All right,
Zach called out as well, by the way.
Yeah, you've been called out in the comments here, Zach. Come on, mate.
Look, Arclay, I think. I mean, we're of two minds on this, if you know what I mean.
Who's we?
Me and Matthew Arclay are of similar ways.
No.
I know. What you mean.
Absolutely. You know what? That's that was not what you said earlier. I just want to make that really. I'm going to put you in the mud again on that one. There you go.
Membership services.
You've been served.
This is phenomenal on the palate. This is like everything I want out of a sherried Bunnahabhain.
I reckon it actually goes really well for the ABV too.
It goes well with the ABV.
Surprisingly refined for what you get. Like
it's also, I just love that second fill PX. It's not the whole story.
No,
absolutely.
It's clearly sherry. It's clearly sweet, but it's like how sometimes you do taste even some Isla like sweet and peat things going on. And it's like it's just quickly lay a sherry cask over the top of this for a year and see what happens. And again, it's dark, sort of confused whiskey that's smoky and a bit junky. And you're like, okay, that's not. But this is like full extra maturation in a second fill, which I think is just really added another layer of complexity to it.
Add a bit of velvet to it.
Yeah, a bit of velvet. Yeah, exactly. That's a good way.
Yeah.
A velvet glove over an iron fist sort of thing going on here.
There's still plenty of spirit there. You can tell.
Yeah, plenty of spirit, character, and 249. Yeah, bit chunky compared to 169, but it's
still great.
Great whiskey. Yes. Well, there we go. We've
been very blessed with Distillery 10 this year. I think we've had one almost every month so far. Maybe 1 month.
And they've all been great. And they've all been different.
They have actually all been different. I think we started off with an oily and coastal one as well. And then we went to the peated and now the bold and peated. Or peaty, I should say.
Bold and peaty.
275 cask. Wow. As I tell you what, there's a few whiskies that you guys put out from them wildly different. Like you characterize SMWS 10 as, the same all over the place. A lot of bourbon cask whiskey that I remember too, where you just never seen this before. Like, really stick in the mind as being unique sort of look at the distillery. So,
we talked about before about how cask type doesn't determine flavor profile. Neither does distillery. Even just last year or maybe year before, we had that deep, rich and dried fruits 53. So it was a DRDF 53. It was an unpeated, I'll say it was unpeated Kalila that was in a DRDF profile because it was from a sherry cask of
that was almost 3 years ago now. I remember that. It had a very long name. I know.
No. It was Metamorphosis. Metamorphosis.
Metamorphosis. Yeah, that was about 2.5 years ago. It was fantastic and it flew off the shelf. But
of course
you're 100% right. And even in recent times, the future, next month you can expect to see a distillery code in a flavor profile you would not have picked.
That's true. Cool. That's very true, actually.
Love it.
If we're thinking of the same one, that is.
I believe we are. I believe we are.
Excellent. I think this has been a great walk through the 8 new profiles. I'll just throw this up one more time. Allow me. Sorry.
In your own time.
No, I don't even know where you kept it. Anyway, this the flavor wheel.
Hang on.
Oh, there it is. Thank you. That's great. I was looking right at it. There we go. But this is a great look at the new 8 profiles that replace the 12. We're still going to see the old 12s here and there in different outturns in the coming months. That's a good way of looking at it there, which you'll see an outturn as well of that sort of how they sort of translate what it now looks like, and how it makes a lot more sense now. And it really is talking much more to flavor, which is what we're about. And I think one of my favorite things always about the society since day one has always been that sort of irreverence and fun around whiskey, fun and color and flavor, and not taking anything too seriously. No stuffy tartan, and just having that sort of colorful aspects of whiskey that drive it towards flavor, rather than just always talking about distillery profiles or anything else really.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I'll do a few last quick marketing calls.
Sure.
If you haven't bought your tickets to the Flavour Profile events happening in every state, Adelaide coming soon, please do. Sydney and Melbourne just went on sale today, and they are happening in late June and early July. Again, completely different lineup, 8 brand new bottlings, all in the new Flavour Profile, so they'll be fantastic to get around. Also, this Friday, we've got the May Our Turn preview, and here is the cover of it. So we are unveiling the Fortified Creators Collection, which is really exciting as it hits close to home with those Australian fortified casks, as well as many other goodies, including a couple of firsts for the society. So keep an eye out on your inboxes for that.
That's very cool.
Zach, Matthew, Luke, especially Luke, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, it's been great.
And thank you everyone for tuning in. We really appreciate it. We do these packs because you guys buy them and interact with us. And I think this has been
talk whiskey and talk a bit of nonsense. Yeah.
And we'll keep an eye out for the next episode of No Stupid Questions.
Yeah, of course. There's just a QR there you can scan to submit your questions. No questions too stupid, and we love them all. So bring them through. Anything to do with whiskey is better. We'll usually actually pay attention to those ones. But of course, any questions also work. Just in general, people did ask, "Am I the head of the Quickie Mart?" That was a good one. There you go.
Yep. Care routines can't answer.
Care routines of the team.
Oh yeah, I've got a few of those.
Yeah, you're gonna feel.
Luke, we'll get you on for that one next.
Yeah.
I've got a lot of experience.
A lot of experience.
Water.
All right.
Let's rock and roll. We'll see you guys at an event soon. We'll see you at an May virtual tasting, maybe even, and drink good whiskey.